All right. So yeah, do you think he can get breach of contract?
I think the big one is they said that they would go after the Earl Spence fight, right? They would have to prove that they made an actual attempt of trying to negotiate that fight. It doesn't seem like they did. Uh, they're
Why do
gonna
you
have
say
to.
that?
Well, because so if you heard of the lawsuit, right? They and Earl Spence and them have kind of always said this, right? They always said that there was never actual negotiation that took place. The Top Rank never really contacted them for that. So now Top Rank's going to have to prove that they did, and they're going to have to prove that they did make an offer and that the offer was made. All those things. So those things, I don't think that Terence Crawford and his lawyer get involved in this situation without knowing that really never took place. And I think that now he's a free agent. He had the conversations with all these other people. I think that he knows now that didn't take place.
Well, if inquiring, let's say he has an email to Al Heyman. Let's just hypothetically, because neither of us know 100%. If Bob Arum could prove that he sent 2 emails or 3 emails to Al Heyman saying like, "Hey, could we talk about the Spence Crawford fight?" Would that suffice?
I don't think so. I think it would have to be. I mean, unless you got a complete denial from Al Heyman that says like, "Hey, no, we don't want to talk about that," right? Then that maybe. Right. But if not, if you have something that says, yeah, let's talk about it. And he sends an offer that we all know, like if they look at the numbers, right, there's going to be someone that looks at the numbers and says, is this a reasonable offer? That's what it would have to be. That's probably what's going to have to be. Also, the part that he needs 2 fights in a year. And I understand there was a pandemic, right? The reason it didn't happen. But just like the Tyson Fury situation with Deontay Wilder, it didn't allow him to get out of making that fight. Do you get what I'm saying? So if he had owed him 2 fights and he had to make up for it later on or pay that whatever he was due to Terence Crawford, I don't think the pandemic is going to be able to get out of everything that's contractually obligated.
No, but I would think the court takes that into consideration. Goes he fought in 2019 in October and then so no, or was it November? It was either October or November. Excuse me, I don't remember the date exactly, but let's just say it was October. Bud takes 4 or 5 months between fights anyways, which about every fighter does.
Yeah.
The pandemic started in March. So it's like, how am I gonna make a fight for you when, fights didn't again start picking up until like August or something?
Yeah. And then they're going to look into who did you have a fight for? Did you have events? And why wasn't Terence Crawford offered a fight within those events? Right. Because he can't just say, well, I wasn't going to make money in those events. That's not what your contract. The contract isn't that you make money. The contract is that he has a fight with a minimum guarantee. And if you don't, it's $900K paid to Terence Crawford if he doesn't have that fight. So it's all the contract is going to hold you to it. Because even like, okay, what I do in my personal life is I manage a construction company, right? I manage a construction business. Everything that we had contract-wise with those jobs, I couldn't say, well, we're in a pandemic now, right? I can't do this at this schedule. No, the schedule is still the schedule. Nothing got away from that. Unless the government issues that says that you can't do this, right? So they would have to have something like that. They did it. They had events. The guys did fight. And they had events that were reasonable, probably financially to them, but that doesn't work for Terence Crawford.
Yeah, but also there's a quote, and if you want, I can read it to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where all right, so I'll read it to you, and then we'll discuss the quote. Because Terence Crawford came out and he said that he wanted more money if he's gonna fight in front of no crowds. All right, so this is the exact quote. So I'm not like just talking off the cuff. If it was to happen, then they have to pay me more. They have to pay me more because fighters of my status and on my level, we get paid for the people that's coming there as well. So if I can't get paid off people coming, then I'm going to have to get paid up front. You got to pay us fighters because we're taking a big risk and a health risk at the same time. You can't play boxing. One false move and you can be 6 feet deep. So they can come to the table and be like, look, every time we offered him a deal under the contract agreement, he came up to us and say, no, you got to pay us 2, 3, $6-7 million more. And you don't need necessarily emails to, because you could lie in court and you could be like, no, I spoke to this manager on the phone.
Yeah, but that's not going to hold up. It would have to be written offers. Written offers with a contract that says sign here and this fight happens. It's not going to hold up if it's just word of mouth. It ain't never going to hold up. No way, not in that big of a claim and that much money involved. It's always going to be a written offer. There's no way it's just like, oh yeah, we talked about a fight, but he wasn't interested. It probably don't work that way. It's like the UFC, they offer a guy a fight. If he denies it, right, then they get extension on his contract because he denied a fight. So they get a 6 months extension on his contract, right? That's a written offer that he has.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how the UFC keeps all their fighters. Is
That's
they, if they offer, say if they offer you a fighter that you have no interest of fighting and you feel like you can't win, well, then they know to offer that guy to you because you'll turn it down. And then that extends your contract.
That's smart. But yeah, no. All right. So that's the first part. So you do think he has a legit claim to
yeah, like I said, everything's gonna. I don't have the the proof or anything like that. I don't even have any inside
information. I know.
But I'm saying I don't think they're attacking this without that information in hand that they know. Like they said, a lawyer never asks a question that he doesn't know the answer to. They're not going into here without knowing at least that they have a claim here, right? Without having some proof.
No, and he has one of the best lawyers in all of entertainment.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Brian Friedman.
When professionals like that get involved, it ain't as easy as this is going to go away. No, it's not. This guy has the evidence that he feels like is, able to win this case.
All right. This is the second part of the lawsuit. Awarding monetary damages in an amount to be proven at trial and over the jurisdictional minimum of this court. So meaning because of Bob Arum's maybe lack of promotion or the way he's talked about Terence in the media, it's done damage to Terence Crawford's brand so bad that he wants the court to determine how much money Bob Arum should have to pay him for that. Do you think he has any chance of winning that case?
I think he has a very good chance of winning that case because Bob Arum put it out in public. I mean, I agree. I don't understand. Sometimes I know Bob Arum just fires from the hip, and maybe that's an old school way of doing it, but he had to have known that could come back and bite him. And you can't slander your fighter while he's under contract and you're supposed to be promoting him. It's the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. So he definitely, I've seen the evidence on that. For this one, I do have inside information on this one, and because he said it in an interview.
No, I agree. I agree with that. All right, so the third one is punitive damages in an amount to be proven at trial. So not only is he going to be suing him for what Bob Arum did as far as what he said and breach of contract and all these things, but how the court should punish Bob Arum on top of what Terence Crawford is owed due to damages. Do you think the court will take that into consideration? Does he have a good chance of winning a punitive lawsuit on how much Bob Arum should be punished for his work against Crawford?
It probably goes hand in hand with the last one. So if the last one goes through, they probably look at the other one and say, okay, so what do we think this cost him by this, right? When he goes to negotiate now, right, is this public information that this guy gave out? Is it slander, right? So now everybody can use it against him. Is it hurt his value?
No, that's a good point. I agree with you. It does go hand in with the other one. And I do think Terence has a legit claim that, he was being slandered and he was being demoted as opposed to promoted. So I agree with you on that one. All right. So the second, the fourth one I've just said, but it's pretty straightforward. Awarding interest in an amount according to proof, meaning he's probably owed money, whether it be that $900,000. So
yeah,
and he hasn't been paid on time. So interest on that he has a legit case. We don't need to talk about that. This one I found very interesting. And I want to know your opinion on that. Awarding Crawford's attorney fees and costs as special damages. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so I think anytime you enter a lawsuit, especially in business, and I know they do this a lot, you pay for the attorney fees. If he wins, you pay the person that loses pays for the attorney fees.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, all right, you educated me. Awarding. I already said that. This is the last one. Awarding Crawford such further legal or equitable relief as this court deems just and proper. So basically, what that's saying is, if throughout the course of the courts, us making Terence Crawford making his claim and these people defending him, the court sees something else that Crawford should be suing him for and is not listed on what I just listed. The court could add that on and be like, all right, you're also suing him for this because, this was bad for your business.